Alrighty, gang, I'm back. I'm back at you from the Odyssey Life garage with a terrible sunburn on my face from welding in a group setting without the proper neck shields and everything. And I'll tell you what, it hurts like the dickens, and it's making smiling and talking a difficult task. But that's not going to stop us from diving into our Fl250 Pullstart. We're going to find out if it's economically feasible to tear this one apart, see what's wrong, order the available parts to fix it. Or should we just jump on eBay, find the next available replacement, spend a couple $100, possibly get ripped off, and not get one that's in better shape than we have now? In this video, we're going to find out. Alright guys, let's get to work. Alrighty, I give you our Fl250 Pullstart Universal. This is a first gen or second gen. You can put it on either one. So this is our Fl250 Pullstart internals right in there, and we're going to start with that nut. Hopefully this thing doesn't blow apart when we pull it apart. It does seem to move, but as I said, it's frozen. It doesn't actuate. So let's start by taking off this nut, and it looks like it might be a 12 millimeter. So let's go ahead, let's take our nut off. I'm going to keep pressure on this with my thumb because I can feel that there's a spring in there. And I don't want this to come flying apart, so let's go ahead and see what happens. Oops, it wants to immediately come apart. So we have this. Oops, there it goes. That's that. And then we have our three pucks, these three things on the inside. All right, we have a spring that goes in the middle like so. As you saw, us loosening this nut and taking this off allowed our pull start to free up. So that's step number one. Let's get it freed. So it's free. Now what do? We inspect the parts. Everything in here looks good. The next part is this part. I'm pretty sure Joe was talking about this hub getting mushroomed out on the side. I don't know if you can see that or not. So let's set this to the side for right now, and let's continue digging. All right. Our pull start seems to work all right. We're probably going to screw ourselves by taking this off and that spring coming unwound. I've never wound the spring before, so we're just going to go ahead and see what happens. There we go. We let the tension off. Let's pull this out. Okay. There's our spool, and our spring is right here. So we're just going to let it do its thing. And we're gonna clean this spring up, and we're gonna rewind it. So let's let it go ahead and unspring. There. We'll sit that there. And then you can see all that dirt, crud, rust that's in there. We need to clean all that out. Yeah, we definitely want this to be squeaky clean for when we put our spring back in there. Hopefully everything goes back together correctly. We're gonna take our rope off, clean up the spool. We're gonna have to clean all this before we put it back together. So, all right. We did it now, gentlemen. We've got a disassembled Fl250 Pullstart. There really isn't much to it, but first we got to clean this. So let's get our bucket of witch's brew, and let's get our scrub brushes, and let's go ahead. Let's get this stuff down in the bucket, and let's get it cleaned. Okay, I'll see you at the bucket. Alrighty guys, and we're back after a week or so wait for the mailman. We finally assembled all the parts for us to reassemble our Honda Odyssey Fl250 Pullstart, guys. We needed our D-washer, so yeah, we got all the parts assembled. Last thing and first thing we have to do is get our recoil spring harvested from our witch's brew. So we're gonna pull that out of the bucket. We're gonna wipe it down free of all debris. Then we're gonna reassemble this mess and see how much money did we spend, how much did we save, and will we have a pull start that'll last a few thousand more pulls? We're gonna find out. All right, guys, let's get back to work. Let's go ahead, let's reassemble our Fl250 Pullstart. So let me get the grease. We actually have a brand new tube, and I'm gonna pop a cap off, and we pop the cap off and just scoop it out. This is the black MP2 lithium grease. It's a premium quality lithium soap grease. It's oxidation resistant. This stuff prevents oxidation. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna smear the inside. We're gonna smear this with grease. We're just gonna coat it with grease. I swim in it personally, because as I always say, if you get a little grease on something, you get a little grease on everything. So, all right, let's put some grease in there. All right, guys, we got a copious amount of grease inside of our spring housing. Let's go ahead and clean up our messy hands, and then we'll get to putting this recoil spring back in here. Now that we have our spring in the right orientation, and we have our hub in the right orientation, everything is where it should be. Let's go ahead, let's scoop this up, and then let's just spin this until it starts tightening and taking itself in. But all right, let's see if we can do this. Because it says in the owner's manual, don't let the spring pop out. So let's see if we can get it in there. What? We actually got it for our first time. We're in there. We're actually in there. But we didn't put our rope on. But that's okay. That's okay. One thing at a time. We should have remembered to put our rope on. Oh, well, it was practice. I don't know. Do you think we can get the rope in? I don't think so. Well, let's see if we can yeah, now we're gonna be covered with grease. So yeah, all that hard work for nothing. But hey, we learned something. So now we got to pull it out. We have to put our rope on, wind the rope, then wind our spring, and all at the same time put it in here. So unless there's a way to do it, which I don't know what that way would be, because the rope has to come in and then tie on the inside of our hub. So all right, let's see if we can we? Well, at least it let me see that the spring isn't all the way in the housing. Nope, it definitely wasn't. Alright guys, and then another week goes by. You know, as you saw in the last video clip, our spring snapped. It didn't only snap once, but it snapped twice because I tried to cold bend it real quick and just move on with the video. But I found out it doesn't work that easy, and everything that I've seen on Facebook and everywhere else, that once that happens, you know, you can repair them by heating it and bending it. If it starts snapping, especially at the point where it needs the strength the most, the spring is shot. I found us a spring. It's the same everything minus one thing. It's just a tiny little bit shorter. So we're gonna go ahead with the micrometer and measure our old spring. Let me get you in here so we can do that. All right, so we have just under 8 millimeters. So we have just under 8 millimeter, 7.95. The new spring measures in at 7.15. So we're talking about 3/4 of a millimeter thickness difference. To me guys, that's negligible considering that this spring is brand new. It will last many more years, and now we have a suitable replacement. At a 1/2 millimeter difference, we can live with that guys. If you look, you stick it on, it is the exact size. It sits on there perfect. Yeah, it's perfect guys. It's a perfect replacement for our spring. So let's go ahead, let's install our new spring in our Pullstart with the rest of our parts and make this bad boy brand new. All right guys, let's do it. So I was standing here looking at this to figure out how to install this spring correctly. So we have to make sure that our Pullstart is in the orientation that it shows in the Fl250 manual. You can see right here, I'll have it up on the screen while we do this. So if you look where the spring is, you can see that the U is facing down. So it bellies down with the top pointing up. So make sure you look at the orientation in the manual. You'll be standing in front of it. So we want to take our spring, we want to put this in first, stick it in there, cut the band after we get it down inside, and then this will fall right into place where it needs to be to come in contact with this, or we'll be able to line it up. So it needs to be put in. I'm gonna stick it in there. I shouldn't have used so much grease. It's making everything slippery. There we go. We'll just use a finger to help guide it over. There. So I don't know if you can see that, but it's in exactly how it should be, sitting right up against there. And then we'll cut that steel hoop probably right here if we can get some cutters in there. And then we're gonna hold the spring down while it'll just curl itself up inside here like it's supposed to. and then we'll have a brand new installed spring, hopefully. Okay, let's go ahead and cut this band and see if our spring will install itself properly. Just make sure before you cut it that you hold down on it so it doesn't jump out as the manual says. There it goes. Let me see if I can get that piece of metal out of there before it... Ah, we didn't do it. I've got so much damn grease on here. Oh my goodness. Alright, let's rewrap this spring. We'll start from scratch. Alright guys. Oh my God, I actually got it. Somebody said how accomplished you feel after you get that spring in. And oh my God, do I feel like I just ran a marathon. My hands are shaking. Guys, that spring fits perfectly. I can't wait for you to see it. We have our recoil starter spring installed, and I'm happy to announce that it is in perfect alignment with our spool hub spool, our thing that holds the rope that spins. We have a new rope to install and a new handle because this one didn't have a Pullstart handle. So let's go ahead, let's get you back down in here and we'll install our rope and our handle. Okay guys, all right, let's do it. Alrighty, without moving this too much, gonna reassemble our workspace so we can then reassemble our Pullstart. I don't know how much we're gonna have to tension it after the fact, but if you can see that our Pullstart, our spring is exactly where it should be for us to put it on, to have our catch right here is perfectly spaced out from the side, orientated in the direction that it is in the manual, standing in front of it. It's exactly where it should be. So, all right, first things first, let's install our rope. So you have a hole down in your hub here, which is right there, and you feed your rope in till you see it down there, and if it doesn't poke through, you can either sit there and try to manipulate it, or you can get a hook, you can get a pick or whatever. I prefer needle nose pliers. Should be able to get down there and get it done, but sometimes not. In fact, we will get a pick. We'll get the hooked one and we'll see our rope down there and we'll pull it through. There we go. And then to tie the knot that they show in the manual, you take your, try to leave yourself a tiny little tail. Take your rope, 1, 2, and then you pull, and then you can adjust it down so you're not trimming a lot off your brand new rope. Pull it tight, and then it shows pulling like this. We got our rope installed. As you can see, our spool is full. I guess we can go ahead and Since that spring is so new, we can put something in there, stick it between the spring and the shaft, and it'll allow this to drop down. So let's try that. Ah, you son of a bitch! Oh! No, not this again. All over a rope. Oh. Let's see if we can mitigate the damage. I'm gonna have to start over. We were triumphant. We got tension. Now we're ready. We're finally ready for final reassembly. Okay, guys, let's get in here and let's finally get this thing buttoned up. So then we can put it on, I mean, having it work right there on the pool works fine, but we got to put it on an engine, and we have one to put in our Fl250 first gen, and we're going to get into that in the next video. But let's go ahead and make sure our Pullstart works up to par. All right, guys, let's get this done. Have our Fl250 Pullstart. First thing we want to install is our brand new D washer. That goes on like so. That is the cup that holds our spring. We can put our fingers in, round side down. Let's do some grease in our cupped washer, just to give that spring a little bit of lubrication, just in case it needs it. You guys know I love putting grease on everything. I mean, unless it specifically says no grease, we're putting grease. This is gonna be the smoothest. Well, I don't know if it'll measure up to Randy Lee's pristine examples of the Fl250 Pullstart, but we're gonna be pretty darn close with performance of ours, I'm sure. So, all right, now we can drop our cupped washer. This washer, give that a little whoop-de-doo in the grease, spin that around. Now we can apply our fingers, get them into their bed of lusciousness in there. You know what, let's just set this down on here, and then we can go ahead and angle it up a little more. As soon as I touch it, it wants to fall. There it is. Got it. Now we start with our flat washer, our lock washer, and then our nut. And if I'm not mistaken, that is a 12 millimeter. All right, let's go ahead and give our rope a pull. Seems like it works very fine, very fine. So let's go ahead and install our pull handle. Okay, let's go ahead and take this off. There we go. You guys, we have a 100% completely fully functioning, rebuilt, all brand new internals, new springs, new D-washer, new everything. And we reassembled. Guys, we found a replacement for our Fl250 recoil starter spring. This thing works like brand new, gentlemen, brand new. All day long. So nice. Look at that. There you have it on Odyssey Life. Look for those springs. Will be available soon at oddatv.com. It was been a long time coming, but we have a Honda Odyssey Fl250 rebuilt Pullstart. Super excited. I'll see you for the outro. All right, folks, you don't know what sense of satisfaction and accomplishment that comes with being able to reassemble, you know, basically a brand new Fl250 Pullstart with all brand new internals. The main thing was that spring, guys. That's a game changer, and that spring will be available soon at oddatv.com. Super excited about that. I hope you're excited about our Pullstart video. Total cost to rebuild our Honda Odyssey Fl250 Pullstart, minus my mistakes in ordering some of the wrong parts. I really had to shop around and order, you know, just to find everything. But total cost, less than $50, guys. Less than 50 bucks. This was Fl250 Pullstart rebuild. Is it worth it, and how much? I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoy being in the garage, and we've got so many more exciting things coming up. Let's just struggle through this last little bit of tech before we get to the fun stuff, guys. So I made a promise to Joe to make a comprehensive library of how to rebuild videos of all the major components on the Honda Odyssey Fl250, and I'm a friend and a man of my word, so we're gonna get it done. All right, guys, I guess I'll see you next week, unless I'm sitting at home watching the Golden Girls and emergency broadcast comes over the TV. 3 Mile Island, nuclear power meltdown. Everybody must evacuate. We all head for the hills and underground, and we hide away eating stored emergency rations and everything, and needlessly suffer for them to come back and say that it was all just a false alarm and that our nuclear power plant communication grid was hacked by communist Chinese hackers, and it was a false alarm. Well, after we all clean our britches and wipe our brows and come back out, squint at the bright daylight, I promise when I make it back to the Odyssey Life garage, I'll see you then. And as I always say, if you're riding, stay safe, wear a helmet, and I'll see you soon. I'm glad that Pullstart crap's over.